Welcome! I have chosen to work with The Hate You Give, or Thug, by Angie Thomas, which is a novel in the young adult category. My goal is to instill the joy of reading in students, because reading on a regular basis can help them do better in school and to develop as human beings. The English subject curriculum states that literary texts in English can instill a lifelong joy of reading and a deeper understanding of others and of oneself, and also that reading different types of texts can lay the foundation for personal growth, maturation, and creativity. Collian Slater confirms this by saying that literature offers a bountiful and extremely varied body of written material, which is important in the sense that it says something about fundamental human issues. Furthermore, they state that literature is authentic material that can provide cultural and language enrichment. It can also inspire personal involvement because the students are able to focus on content instead of language. In addition, this novel is written in present tense, therefore it should be manageable for most students, despite other challenges concerning the language. My class is in VG1 in the Program for General Studies, and the competence aims I will focus on are: in oral communication, to introduce, maintain, and terminate conversations and discussions about general and academic topics related to one's education program. In written communication, to evaluate and use suitable reading and writing strategies adapted for the purpose and type of text, to understand the main content and details in text of varying length about different topics, and to write different types of text with structure and coherence suited to the purpose and situation. In culture, society, and literature, to discuss and elaborate on different types of English language literary texts from different parts of the world. After reading and working on the novel, the students should be able to participate in class conversations about a novel and to express their opinion on it, to understand the main plot of the story and to write a book review about it, or for the advanced readers to give a literary analysis of it, and to describe and discuss the text in an academic language related to fiction. According to Tishakov, a text should be divided into chunks suitable to the needs of the students. I would encourage the students to read approximately 35 pages a week during 12 weeks, with 1 hour a week reserved for silent reading in class discussions, and the use of readers' theatre for some of the scenes. In addition, I would set aside 1 week for a written evaluation and 3 weeks for oral preparation and evaluation. I would focus on ways of reading, mostly extensive reading for pleasure and enjoyment, and therefore use a top-down model way of reading. Also aesthetic reading, which focuses on reader response and finding relevance in the text. According to Wieland, personal meaning and emotional engagement based on recognition may make up for weaknesses in knowledge of vocabulary. Therefore, I would ask questions related to the student's own life and also about personal feelings and opinions regarding the text. To make the students reflect upon the text, I would ask why questions. As pre-reading activities, I would tell the students to look at the title, The Hate You Give and Thug. What does it mean? Can you find any connection between the long and the short version of the title? Also, the cover and the blurb. Do they tell us who the story is about, where and when it is set? I would also ask them to read the first few pages and look at the language, to prepare them for different kinds of language in the novel. And finally, I would ask them to express their expectations to the book. Do they think it will be difficult, funny, sad, filled with action, engaging, realistic, and so on? And do they expect to learn something from it? During reading, I would ask the students to make a table or a family tree where they place the characters as they appear in the story. Who belongs in Garden Heights? Who belongs in the suburbs, and who would you place in between the two? I would also ask them to write a log, a few sentences about the pages they read each week. And each week I will give them things to look for while they are reading that will be discussed in class in the following order. Language. Take a look at slang, swearing, and grammatical errors. Do you use slang or grammatical errors when you talk? Why do you think the author has chosen to write the dialogues in this way? Star's friends, what do we learn about them? What do you think about them? Does it remind you of your relationship with your friends? Can you find any similarities or differences? Clothes. What do we learn about the way Star and the others dress? Do you know the brands they talk about? Do you wear brand clothes yourself? And why are clothes so important to many people, in your opinion? Music. Who are the artists that Star listens to? Why do you think the author has chosen these artists? And what kind of music do you appreciate? Do you listen to different kinds of music when you are happy or sad, with other people or alone? Television shows. What kind of shows do you watch? What do you like about them? What do you know about Fresh Prince in Bel-Air? And why do you think the author has chosen this show as a point of reference? Star's family. What do we learn about them? What do you think about them? What is your family like? And what are the benefits or challenges of having a bonus family? Drugs. What attitudes on drugs are expressed in the novel? Why, in your opinion, are we introduced to different attitudes on drugs? And what is your opinion on drugs? Conflicts. What kind of conflicts is Star experiencing? Keep an eye out for the changes that she makes while moving from one part of the city to another. Why do you think she does this? Are you a different person in different settings, for instance with your family and with your friends? The love story. Star and Chris are a bit like Romeo and Juliet. Why do you think the author has chosen a white boyfriend for Star? Could something like this happen to you? What would you do if you fell in love with a boy or a girl that your parents and your friends didn't like or accept? The development of the main character Star. What do you think about it? What is the author trying to tell us? What would you have done if you were in Star's shoes? After reading, I would ask the students if the book lived up to their expectations, and if they learned something from it. According to Carlson, extensive reading should be followed by a final product that is analytical or creative. Therefore, after introducing some academic terms related to literary fiction, like how to write a book review and a literary analysis grid, I would ask the students to write and hand in a book review or a literary analysis, and to make a creative presentation in groups. For instance, an interview with Star or one of the other characters 10 years later, where we learn what happened to them. The presentation could be filmed in advance or performed live. The works cited are The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, The English Subject Curriculum by Udir, Using Readers' Theatre in Language Teaching by Drew, Literature in the Language Classroom by Colley and Slater, Reading and Teaching English Literature by Wieland, Reading Skills and Strategies by Tishakov, and Reading Literature by Carlson.